Hello and welcome to the Khurram Qureshi's podcast. Today we have a very special guest, Olayinka, and she's going to talk to us about different things that she does in her business, which is legal field and the lawyer. And she's going to give us some insights, tips, and her organization, Hezibar, and what that organization does. So, Olayinka, welcome to Khurram Qureshi's podcast. How are you today?
I'm great. I'm very excited to be with you today, Khurram. And thank you for inviting me. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for coming in today. I appreciate that. So, Olayinka, please tell me a little bit of your personal background, history, and family. And when did you come to Canada? And before Canada, where were you from? And some history in your background.
Well, that's a lot. That's a lot, but I'll try my best. So, again, my name is Olayinka, and that's a Nigerian name. So Nigeria in West Africa, or in the continent of Africa. So that's where originally I come from. But currently I'm a Canadian, and I live in the Durham Region, Ajax to be precise. So. And I work here in Ajax as well. So, a little bit of background. So, like I said, I'm a Nigerian. I schooled, my initial schooling were all in Nigeria, up to the university level. I actually attended the premier university in Nigeria. That means the first university in Nigeria. And then I worked for many years in the human resources industry. So I was in human resources for many years, got married, had children, and then after a while we relocated to UK, to the United Kingdom. And it was in the United Kingdom that I went to the law school. And so there's a lot of history there, because when I was young, as a teenager, I'd always wanted to read law, but it didn't happen. And so when I got to the UK, I had an opportunity to study law. So I was working and studying law part-time. And once I graduated, it was time to move to Canada. So when I came to Canada, and I quickly got a job in human resources, which is my area. But then I started pursuing my licensing in Canada. As a lawyer. So I was able to do that, and then here we are today.
This is great. Good to know how an immigrant person who traveled to the UK and got the degree in the law and then came to Canada is such a struggle I can imagine. You go through with that, and it's such a blessing as well that you came to Canada and doing your practice and pass the bar to offer your legal services. So, what challenges you face to become a lawyer in Canada, in precisely? Because if somebody wants to come here with the legal profession and wants to be a lawyer, what advice do you want to give it to them?
I would say be ready. Be ready. Like, if you really want to become a lawyer, be ready to face every barrier, because you will face barriers, and it's challenging. It's actually, I think that even to become a lawyer for anybody is really, really challenging. But when you add the layer of being an immigrant and new to a society that's different from where you're coming from, having to, learn a lot of things and learning fast or slow or whatever, but it's challenging. But just if you believe in yourself and you believe that this is what you want to do, I think that you should go for it, no matter what. Now, I know that I had a lot of struggles. First, I had the initial mental struggle, which is, I was in HR for many years in Nigeria, rose to the managerial level. So being in HR, and then I went to the UK, I worked in HR, but then I was then going to law school because I'd always wanted to study law, and I thought, this is my opportunity. I thought that if I could just get my law degree, one step at a time, and I did. And then when I came to Canada, I started weighing things. becoming a lawyer was such like it was like first you have to go through the qualification process, and then the bar, then you think about articling, and just the thought of it was very, very, very challenging. So I was thinking I will settle as HR, but I want to say it's very easy to settle where you really don't want to be. It's very easy to get like a survival job and just say I'll just survive, and then you fall short of going after your dreams. So I would say to anyone, look, if it's your dream, if you desire anything, it could be any other career really, but there will be challenges, but don't settle. Don't settle, because what happens is if you settle later in life, you'll be wondering, would I have been successful if I pursued this? And then regret will come in. So even if you try and you keep failing, and I want to say that if somebody fails doesn't mean that person is a write-off, or failure just tells you that, look, you have not done it right. Think another way of getting it. You have try another strategy. Success, and what success is not final. When you're successful, success is a moving thing for me. It's not a place, it's not a destination. Success is to keep moving towards your dreams. So even if you failed an exam, like I did many times, even if I failed, I saw it as just the journey, the process. So a lot of people focus on the end result. They don't go through that process, because in that process is what you're learning, and then you're able to inspire others the way you handle it, whatever you're going through. So back to your question, if you are a lawyer maybe from anywhere in the world and you come to Canada, there is a process that has been set. It's not an easy process, and it's not peculiar to law. It's any profession. If you want to be a professional, you just have to set your mind first. Have a clarity of what are the steps you need to, what hurdles do you need to overcome to become what you want to become, and then just set your mind to it and go after it.
Wonderful, Olayinka. The way you're describing it is absolutely the inspiration for the many immigrants who are coming over here looking for continuing their profession, or pursue in a new profession instead. But Canada is a land of opportunity, and it has a lot of things to offer. One of the particular thing that you mentioned, and I truly agree with you, is belief. Without belief, I believe certainly on that. If you don't believe to wake up next day, you might not even gonna wake up next day. So believe it. That is strong vibration.
Yeah, mindset.
And mindset is absolutely needed in order to be successful in any stage of life, not in a professional career, but also your personal side of things too, in relationships, your marriage, your kids, and anything like that. And also, another thing you mentioned is there's ups and downs. I relate this theory, ups and down theory, with your heartbeat. If your heartbeat is flat, you're dead. So vibration is good. Life has an ups and downs, and your heart is telling you this. In order to understand the universe and life, all you gotta do is just look at your body. Once you look at your body, you will understand life wants you to fail and succeed. No entity, singular entity or plural entity, even the governments don't stay successful all the time or get failure all the time. They have ups and downs, and that's the way we need to live. We need to support each other and try to get up and overcome our failure to become successful again. And it's a journey. Don't stop. Sometimes people reach some goals and then they say I'm done. Why done? And when you're done, you start finding out you gaining weight and stuff, because start watching the Netflix, Amazon Prime. There's so many choices. It's just absolutely nuts. But the thing is, all those things, leisure things, are okay. But set higher goals. Set goals beyond yourself, beyond your family, beyond your neighborhood.
Absolutely.
And beyond the country. Set the goals, right goals, higher goals for humanity.
Yeah, there's something that I always say: it's not over until it is over. it can be over. It doesn't matter what anybody tells you. It's if they can say no to you, no, 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 but one day they will say yes.
Correct.
So when they say no to you at the 10th time, 11th time, 20th time, and you say it's over, then that's when it's over for you.
Yes.
It's when you say it's over that it's over. So and I always tell myself it's not over until it is over.
Absolutely, absolutely. So just like, you wake up in the morning, God gives you a chance for a new day, new life. Consider a new day as a new life, and let's just go for it.
Yeah.
Like, take chances, get failed, get up, and do it again.
Yes.
My next question to you is just define a little bit of, you already defined your history, but give me your achievements, mission and vision and all. What else you're trying to do besides your profession? You haven't told me something about your family, and I understand that as an immigrant myself, you cannot be where you are without the help from your family. So my brother helped me out a lot, my wife helped me out a lot, and that's what made me who I am today. Now my son is helping, right? So that's what the help is about. So tell me a little bit about how your family helped you out to gain the success you have right now, and then give me some achievements and mission and vision of your life.
Well, thank you so much. First and foremost, talking about achievements, like I mentioned earlier, achievement is not a destination. So
Nice.
I'm still achieving. I'm still moving. Mm-hmm. And talking about family, I have a huge family. So my family and my husband's family, and then my unit family, which is my husband and my children. Mm-hmm. So in terms of my family, my background, we're many. Well, I'd like to tell you an interesting story. So my parents, they met and got married in the United Kingdom many years ago, before I was born, right?
Wow.
There were students, they got married and all. In UK, they had 3 children in the UK, 3 boys. So I got 3 boys. And then my father went back to Nigeria. He was a civil engineer. So he was working, and then my mom came back. And unfortunately, the 3rd boy was still little, and he died. And then I never knew him. So, and then I came along, the woman, and for many years, later on in life, when a lot of things had happened, my parents eventually divorced. So I grew up as a child from divorced home. All of that pain, it's a different story, because I never got to see my dad from when I was probably a toddler to when I was 16 or thereabout. I didn't live with my mom, so all of that struggle, and I always hated the fact that my brothers were born in the UK and I was born in Nigeria. And I won't tell you the name of the town, but when I mentioned that town, like, how could I have been born in this town? And when my brothers were born in the UK and they had pictures of them, their nannies, they're looking cute, looking nice and all of that. I struggled with that for a long time.
God,
I struggled with that,
and I can totally relate to that. Like, seeing your siblings born in a different country, which is a little bit prosperous, compared to Nigeria. Let's be honest.
Yes.
And seeing them growing and prospering, because they are growing with lots of opportunities.
Yeah. So they literally, at a point in time, they literally took their passports and traveled to the UK, and from there to America. And there, I thought I was stuck in Nigeria.
Wow.
I thought I was stuck in Nigeria. My dad was no more, and my mom, So it was like I was stuck. But I had an opportunity when I went to university in Nigeria to go on an exchange program in Moscow for a year. So I was studying in Moscow for a year, and during that time, during vacation, me and my friends, my classmates, we took the train from Moscow, Ukraine, and not USSR. Then it was communist country. Traveled all the way to London.
Oh my God!
By train and ship, and that just opened my mind to a new world.
Wow!
I'm like, I want to live abroad. I want to live. The whole thing, it was just my mind. You know how they say travel is education?
Yes.
Yeah, so traveling through by train, went for Poland, all those countries, and then get on the train, went through Germany, East Germany, West Germany, Amsterdam and all of that, all the way to Ostend, and then gone on the ship to cross on into London and Dover. It was just amazing. So, but fast forward, so that's my family. Fast forward, I thought that I could never be able to, go abroad, but somehow the opportunity came after I got married, and now today, my brothers are in the US, but now I'm based here in Canada. So, and then I got married. I married to a wonderful man, and we started our family. We have 3 children, and when I got married to my husband, I told him I'd always wanted to study law. So I tried we tried many times to get into a university in Nigeria as a part-time, but it never worked out. So it seemed like the idea of it becoming a lawyer had become forgotten. So Khurram, so when we got to the UK, by the time I got to UK, it was 20 years after I left my university the first time.
Oh my God. And the way that you got to the UK too. Like, we need to make a movie on your journey. Like, you have to go to the USSR and then from there to travel. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that how much struggles people put in their lifetime to be where they are.
Yeah.
And success is not overnight, like, a journey or a story. It takes years.
Yeah.
Years.
And that's the interesting thing, because when I look at my life now and I look at where I am right now, I'm like, how did I get here? Because at that time it looks as if everything was like totally gloomy for me, I mean, I was just working in HR. At a point in time, I was working as a personal assistant to somebody, which is more or less like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like a messenger, right?
Correct.
Go do this.
Job. Yeah. Yes. But you were not aiming for that.
Yeah.
And you were not going to settle for it. You
Yes.
know that. But in order to survive Canada, because it's an expensive country. So what happened is a lot of people, the reason they could not pursue in their careers, and that's a little bit challenge for them and their family, because they have to bring bread and butter first in order to survive.
Yeah.
Once you pass through the survival mode, then you have able to do either business or change your career or pursue your education on that.
It's just like the Maslow, the Maslow law, law of hierarchy, where at the bottom you just have to survive, just eat, just stay alive.
Correct.
And then you keep going, then it gets to higher, to where you want self-actualization, where you begin to want to put meaning to life.
Absolutely.
Right? And say what is life all about. So when you talk about my achievements, I'm an author. Like I wrote 2 books already.
Good.
The first
Tell me
one,
about it.
the first one is Are You an Asset or a Liability? And it's basically I wrote it from my experience, where for many years I was just blaming my parents, blaming my background, blaming everything that happened to me, which my childhood, I was supposed to be born into a wealthy family, but I wasn't experienced in the wealthy family. All of that pain. So, but it got to a time where I read. I love to read. The only way I try to numb my whatever pain I'm going through, because they say pain is inevitable. So in life, struggle is an option. So in my pain, I just bury myself in reading. So it was that hunger that I'm always reading. I'm always trying to grow and develop myself, self-development. And one of the ways I do that is through reading. And when I read and I attend conferences and all of that, I realized that, look, your life is you determine where you go. You determine how far you go. You have to stop blaming people, stop blaming the government, stop blaming your mother, your parents, your background, stop blaming your teachers, anybody. You have to take responsibility of your life. When I found out, I started practicing that. That was how I came about writing this book. Are you an asset or a liability? There are principles to life.
Very good.
And then, so the second book is basically how I became a lawyer, and very inspiring book. A lot of people have told me that they've been inspired by it. I'm also a coach.
Okay.
Through my life's journey and experiences, I try to coach people, mainly young people, just to let them know, look, don't waste your time blaming, being angry, and just stopping. Just take yourself up and go after your dreams. Like how we met, I am a convener of the Transformation Summit, and you and I were very
absolutely. That was just 3 years ago. I couldn't believe it. Just before the pandemic. And you put up a very nice event together. So it was very nice.
That was so nice. And I'm a speaker. I get invited to speak, just like you've invited me today. I get invited to speak. And very, very excitingly for me, I'm proud to say that I'm also a business owner.
Very nice.
And a lawyer in Ontario, Canada, and a business owner. So yes,
that is good. That's good. And we have to be thankful to Canada as well, for allowing us to come over here, and allowing us to pursue our practice, beliefs, and everything. So such a great country to providing all of that. So very nice. I've read your books; they're very nice, and I must compliment you that at least you can be able to write it, and that shows the journey in a summary that your leaders are readers. So that is the saying, and that if you want to lead, you have to read. So without reading book, because when you're reading the book, it's a compilation of people's 5 to 50 years journey in 50 pages book. So don't take book is not too thick or too small or anything like that, but see what the message you're getting out of the book.
True.
So it's very nice. Just want to also mention a little bit. People don't know what the asset and liability is. So I just learned it from someone, and I just want to share over here. So asset feeds you, liability eats you. So have the assets in life. So whatever you can be able to do. So gaining knowledge as an asset, because it's going to get you conversion for the long term, as well as the when you invest in yourself in knowledge and read the books, it also make you money and give the success over the period of time. So investing in yourself in knowledge and have a coach. Without the coach is another mentor. It's hard to become successful. And one precise thing that you mentioned, which is very good, that you born in a rich family, and it doesn't have to be the wealth wise, vision wise, blood wise. You're born in a family with a good blood, but the disconnection was you're born in the wrong country. Why you need to be born in England? And there was a gap, and also you wanted to reach there, but you couldn't easily, and there was a struggle too. And most challenging part, which I can relate my life with your life, is my father passed away when I was 4 years old. So all my life I missed the male figure in my life. So any male teacher, male uncle, or anybody in my life, I was just trying to stick with them, learn from them, learn the etiquettes, learn the business, learn communication, each and everything, whatever I can grasp. So bravo to you, Olayinka.
Thank you.
You have done great, and you have raised good kids. And I met your husband. He's such a wonderful man. I highly respect him. So very nice.
But let me say something about Nigeria.
Sure.
Nigeria is not a bad country. It's actually one of the richest country, I would say, literally in the whole of Africa, if not the world, because it's an oil country where oil is, we have oil, and we export oil. But Nigeria is really blessed with a lot of mineral resources. Nigeria is blessed with human resources, human capital, people, very intelligent set of people. And we have a lot of crops, things that can be, even we have liquefied gas, and very, very blessed country. The only thing that we're missing is management, management and corruption. So that's the only thing. So it was just that, the mentality that I had at that time was that because I wasn't born abroad, that I felt that I was less, but I wasn't really less. And I just realized that we humans, just as we immigrated from Nigeria to UK to Canada, you can move anywhere in the world. You can move. We're not trees. Humans are not trees. You can go anywhere and achieve. So
Correct.
don't be sad and say, "Oh, I'm here because of where I am. I can't make it." If I were to stay in Nigeria, I probably would still make it.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Yes. It does take time, though. It does take time to grow in any other country, but first world, like North America and the European country, because system is there and system does support you.
Yeah,
That's a
yes.
good thing about in Canada and America is, especially let's talk about Canada. It has a good system. The
True.
judiciary is good.
Yeah.
Governance is good. System is good. Infrastructure is good. So
True.
if you want to do something, just think about it, write it, discuss the idea, and do it.
That's right.
It is that simple. The issue is people are not thinking correctly. Number one, they're distracted. They're going for something which is not valuable. They're, like for example, like boys and the young men. I'm talking about from the men's behalf. They're spending looking at the cars more than starting up the business. I'll give you an example. One of my client, I cannot mention the name, but he was sad one day when I called him. I say, "What happened?" He's saying, "I got to do something about my son." I say, "What's wrong with him?" He say he's a 16-year-old or 17-year-old, and he bought the used BMW 5 Series with powerful engine, which is M5 and all that, and his insurance is $600+ per month. As a new driver, you should never buy the luxury car, especially the German car, especially the BMW, especially the M5 model, which is the fastest. And then you're going to get a higher price tag on that. And he committed speeding ticket too on the top of it. So it's going to go $800 a month. I say $800 a month. You give it to me, and I will convert that in business model.
Yeah, it's really all about misplaced priorities, and that's why I wrote this book. And we all know that what takes money from you is a liability, and what brings money to you is an asset. But my book has a twist, so I'm looking at it not so much in the financial way, but I'm looking at the principles that make you to become an asset. The principles that you build in yourself that makes you to become an asset to the community, to the world, rather than you taking from the world.
Wow.
And you be a liability. How you can contribute first for yourself.
Yes.
Your
Yes.
family.
Yes.
First.
Yes.
And then how you can be a blessing to the world.
Very good. Very good. You said it such a nice way that you become an asset for yourself.
Yeah.
When you are feeding yourself, making it better for yourself, doing good, feeling good, performing good, then start to do it good for the others. True. And then it's a ripple effect. It's only going to get better over the period of time.
Absolutely.
So you become an asset, and people can do that. It's just they just don't discover themselves with the full potential, and they feel distracted. Yeah. This is why the coach and the mentor helps. They come in and they see the struggle that you're going through, and they simplify it, and they tell you the plan in ABC and 1, 2, 3, and then if you follow it, the chances are probability is you're going to get successful.
I tell you a quick story. Just last year, 2022. So I think between the months of September, October, November, December, a young lady came to me for coaching, and when we started, it was like she was totally miserable and she didn't know what to do with her life. And when we started talking, going through the coaching sessions and everything, by the time we finished, we were able to find out, look, what so many things she could do with her life, and how she could manage her life. So we talked about many things during the coaching, and I was so pleased when she sent me an email recently and told me how that impacted her and has changed her, and people are even seeing that she's changed, that something is changed about her. So that's what coaching does. Yes. And mentorship, because no man is an island. You can just sit there and trying to struggle on your own and all of that, because like I said earlier, pain pain is, inevitable. You're going through this pain, but if you're struggling, it's optional, because if you're struggling and you're not going out looking for help, it's your choice.
Absolutely, and no gain without pain.
Yeah, exactly.
So we are making our kids actually very comfortable lately, right? So whenever they see challenge and struggle, they say, "Oh, I cannot do it."
Yeah,
they're giving up too easy,
soon.
too soon. And this is where, we need to also focus on the youth and young adults. Don't give it too easy. Look at your life. Look at my life. What struggles we've been through, and we made it. And then when I see the local kids born and raised, it doesn't matter you're white or black or Asian or brown or anybody. When you're born and raised in Canada, you have more opportunity compared to me, because you're 20 years ahead of me.
I'll tell you something, Khurram, and a lot of people don't. I've never shared this. When we first came to Canada, we were going to food bank every Saturday.
Wow.
We were going to food bank. So that's a point where we'll go to 2 food banks just to get by, It was hard.
Absolutely.
It was a real struggle, but I didn't settle for that. I had to keep pushing. My family, we kept pushing, and hopefully we'll get to a point where we will be able to open a food bank ourselves and give back to the community.
But honestly, you are giving back a lot too by offering so many sessions as compliments and coaching and helping out the community and all that. So just summarize this question. If somebody needs to reach you as a coach, is it on the personal coaching that you're providing or the business coaching? Personal coaching, and
of course I can coach as a business, because what is coaching? Coaching is you've been through and you had success in something, and then you just helping somebody else through that same journey you have been through.
Correct.
So it's if I, for my life, I would say to a large extent, I've learned some few things in my life, and so I coach for life, and I could even use my book as and I can coach you. I'm an author. I've written a book.
Yes.
I can coach you through how to write a book.
Very good.
I'm a business owner. Yes. I can coach you how to run a business to a large extent, right?
Absolutely.
To at least a few things that I've learned so far.
Very nice. And also how to raise a good family by having so many struggles as you've been through, and still maintain the sanity. Because this is where people lose the track of their life, lose the track of themselves, either become alcoholic or gambling problems,
right,
or any other substance issue, because they look for the shortcut ways to entertain them, please them, and give them the peace.
Yeah.
So this is very important, to understand that help is available, good people are available. Just approach them and tell them. Listen,
you can ask for help in almost any area of your life. Just look for somebody who has kind of gone through what you've been through or you're going through, or somebody who has more experience in whatever area, or even read their books. And if they have podcasts like you, go read their podcast. If they have YouTube channel, go there and just try to learn from people.
Absolutely.
And shorten your own journey.
Absolutely.
It could be in the area of parenting. It could be in any area.
Yes, very good.
And Khurram, I don't shy away from asking questions from people, even if they're younger than me, or if I see that they're successful in an area. I would ask questions and ask, can you teach me? I'm always trying to know better, learn better every day.
All leaders are students. They always put themselves on the student chair, and they never say they're the masters. You never hear any leader say that they're the master of something. They're good into something. And many people ask me too, how do you do it, Khurram, managing so many things? I say it's a persistence, it's a hard work, it's dedication, and it's a love of
and
what you want to
thinking.
do. And thinking, yes.
Thinking.
Yes.
You have to think. Use your brain.
Yes, absolutely. And don't shy be in asking help and offering help too. A lot
Right.
of time, people have some solutions for someone, an organization, but they hold it back. I don't know. I'm not the right fit to do.
In that area, like, because I personally, you're a businessman.
Yes.
And what is business? Business is all about for profit.
Yes.
So if you're going to set up a business and you're having all these expenses and all of this,
Yes.
because it's expensive to run a business,
Absolutely.
and then people just come and they don't want to pay for your service, then it's different. We're not a
becomes
non for
liability. Yes.
yeah, it's not a non for profit.
Yes.
You want to make profit, you want to get by, you want to pay your bills.
Yes.
This society is all, you have to pay your bills.
Absolutely.
They don't
Absolutely.
stop. So yeah, but yes, you can create room for a little bit of, and it happens even in the law practice. You can do, okay, I could do this amount of pro bono, but I'm not going to do 90% pro bono, and
Correct.
and I'm running into debt, and
Yeah.
I'm just running around and not making profit.
Absolutely, and this is the common misconception. I'm calling the lawyer, and as a lawyer, just help me out. It's just only 15 minutes, but people don't realize that there is years, actually decades, of a struggle, reading, practicing, passing bar to get to the point that they can be able to comfortably and confidently answer your 5-minute question, which is authentic and clear as possible to fit for your case.
It's interesting you said that, because just this week, my phone, how the phone tells you that this is a picture you took 5 years ago.
Yes.
So a picture came up during the week that says 5 years ago, and of me just literally in my bathrobe in the basement, all these books and coffee and everything, manuals, that's just me studying.
Yeah.
And I look back, yes, that was the year, that was the final exam.
Wow.
that I used to scale the bar.
Wow.
That was 2018, and I just was thinking of what was in my mind at that time. That time it was just, I'd attempted the exam many times, failed, and just the anxiety, the pressure, the expense, it costs money too, right?
It does.
Time, and
It does.
of course time away from family and all of that. So yeah, it is a lot of work that has gone through to bring someone to a certain level.
Correct.
And
One thing I really wanted to add here, as from a good family who has empathy and a good blood and a good background and everything, it is a custom to be nice and kind with everyone. And also the problem is where we breaking the mold is we came from a working class family and getting into the business world. So first 10 years we didn't know how to balance, how to say no to the people.
Yeah.
Where to stop. Okay, my advising ends.
boundaries,
Boundaries.
yeah.
Set the boundaries. And this is where we struggled because we had no family teaching on the business side of it. So this is another thing that I'm teaching my kids and the youth.
I'm also learning. This is
Yeah.
also something that I'm learning, because somebody walks into my office and they probably just want to do maybe notary service or something. In my mind, I'm thinking maybe I should not just charge for this, but actually I've put in a whole lot of. I bought the seal, I bought everything, if I didn't go through all the struggle of becoming a lawyer, I could never have the opportunity to become a commissioner or notary public. So I'm also training myself to be able to at least confidently charge for my service.
But we have to inform people. People just take it for granted, it could be free. No, it's not the government organization. It's not not-for-profit organization. It's for profit, and we have a responsibility to run the operation. How are we going to run the operation without charging the money? So, and we are willing to help. I'm willing to help to the small businesses who don't have money. I give them the payment plan or something like that. But they expect everything to be free. Is just, and especially in the IT industry and design and website design industry, it's very common. Something is designing for free while you're charging for it. I say, why don't you go with them and then not come to me, and try it out. So it's we need to understand the people value of their time and professional, and then respect them and pay them accordingly.
I agree.
So wonderful, Olayinka. It is going great, and I hope our audiences are getting a lot of information from this podcast. So very nice. So please tell me which areas of the law do you and your organization covered?
You know how I said I started work as human resources, so inevitably I'm just like employment law is my major area of practice. So employment law, and before I started my practice, I worked in the human rights section in the government. So I provide such services, like employees who think they may be facing some maybe harassment or discrimination at work. I take such cases. Also, because of my human resources background, also I can offer business consultancy for employers, how to deal with their employees and coming up with policies and making sure that they're following the Employment Standards Act in Ontario, and they put all the necessary policies in place. Apart from all that major area in employment law, I also review employment contracts, employment contracts, agreements, and termination contract. All of that, I know that. Anything that has to do with work, employee, I do that. And I also do wills and estates.
Okay.
So I write wills for people, powers of attorney, and probate application. And for those who have wills and those who don't have, who pass without wills, do that probate applications. And also real estate. I do real estate closings for residential sale and purchase and all of that. And notary, I do notary service. I dabble a little bit into family law, but it got very because I'm solo practitioner, so it got really very daunting for me. So I'm a little bit not really, until I build the capacity, I put a hold on that. And I'm also doing consent and capacity applications, so mental health law. So that's something I'm also doing right now.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Mental health law and mental health is a rising problem in our society these days. So this is very good. Glad to know that you cover so many aspects of it as a business owner. I know how much value the contract holds whenever you go into any agreement in the business. So definitely the value into this. So just a business related question for it. If somebody wants to hire you for the particular service, of course you're going to give it to them. But if some business owner wants to hire your organization service as a retainer, do you provide any retainer service on a monthly basis?
I'm hoping for conversation, but it has to be really beneficial to me. So
absolutely.
yes. So to your question, yes.
Okay.
It's an area that we can look into. Yeah.
Sure, definitely. Because what happened is, if the company start keeping the budget for the legal services, because they cannot have the legal advisors in their organization, but if they reaching to the point that there are 5 to 6 people working in their organization, so that point they need a legal service. But if they have a retainer, they can be able to utilize that legal service. So as a consultant, I will open up to my clients too, and bring them to you, and refer them to you. So you assess them and see if one-time service can be valued to them or retainer. It can be case by case basis.
Yeah, of course, it's always case by case. I will just kind of review and see if it's a business that is worth doing.
Yes, absolutely.
So don't forget, even as a lawyer, you're still a business person. So you have to still weigh, you have to look at your business model and see if this will work.
This clientele is good. Yeah. Absolutely. So Olayinka, you also have a social organization named Hezibar. Can you please give me a little detail about it? Why did you start, and what is the purpose of that organization?
Well, Fzibar is an organization that started way back when I was in Nigeria. Just about the time also when I had come to the realization that my own destiny is in my hands. And I started taking every step to help myself. And I saw the results. I started seeing the results. So at first I was living in pity and, oh, poor me, I didn't have this opportunity, I didn't do this. But when I changed my mindset, things started changing for me. And that's even when the idea of coming to Canada came up. So I just saw that my whole life just kind of opened up in a new direction. So I decided to I started, the kind of seminar I had that you and I attended last 3 years. I started doing that for young people in Nigeria.
Okay.
So I would book a hotel, I print the flyer, invite the young people, and tell them what I learned about my life.
Very good. And we need to do more of one of those seminars.
So,
this COVID thing put people in their home, and the frustration has gone quite a bit high. So activity from those kind of organizations will really beneficial.
Yeah, so that was what I was doing. I would invite speakers, and it was just young people, and I called it was called Fzibar. Fzibar, and that was where even the idea of this book came. So that was way back in Nigeria. I was having all those events, inspiring people and all of that. And then when I went to the UK, not so much, because I was studying and a lot of new life and everything. But when I came to Canada, after the initial struggles, and that's what I'm doing at another level now, that I organized the Transformation Summit, just to let people know that you can actually change your life. You can actually change your story. You can turn things around. And I tell you what, I when I first came to Canada, I was living in an apartment, and there was a lady, like a single mother, and probably having living on social benefits. But when she saw me, I think she got inspired, and she went back and did law clerk, and today she's like really transformed and happy. The thing is, Hezibar is all about inspiring people to self-development. Don't settle. You can be the best. Pursue purpose. That's what Hezibar is all about.
Very nice.
But I kind of targeted more to younger people and to women.
I see that. Okay, there's definitely needed help in that sector. And as a technology coach myself, I can be able to weigh in if those women needed to start a business, and technologies go hand in hand in any business these days. If they need any advice or any help, please refer them to me, and we can be able to look forward to provide a next Hezibar workshop together, and we can divide it in a way of inspiration and have some action plan section of it too, before and after the lunch, so we can
you were there, the one I had in ages, so you saw the speakers, right?
Very good.
So we talked about purpose, we talked about the other speaker, an immigrant woman, single mother, homeless, and she turned her life around and became a business owner and employing other people. You remember her?
Yes.
And then also, so that's what it is, and allowing people to come and showcase your business during the seminar, during the transformation stuff. So it's something that we can actually put together.
Absolutely, I'm looking forward to that. So the name Hezibar, where that comes from? I mean, that's a North American name, so you need to explain to the audience.
I'm glad you asked, Khurram. I'm so glad you asked, because it's a special name. So I was never born with that name, but at a point in time in my life, I realized that I needed God. I was doing everything on my own. I was struggling on my own, but it came to and a lot of things happened to me. But I came to a point where I had to realize that I actually have a maker. Somebody created me. He has the manual for my life. You know how every product is manufactured by a manufacturer, and there is always a manual. So if you want to run that, for instance, this camera, they have manuals. You have to follow the instructions of the manual which the maker of that camera has written down. So as a human being, I didn't make myself. Somebody made me, created me.
Absolutely.
And the holy book, the Bible, I read the Bible because I'm Christian. I believe in God. I go to church. So that was the point, and I wasn't really serious with God. I was born into a Christian family, but I was not a Christian per se. I was just Christian by name, but not by practice. So they're two different things, right?
Got it.
So when I realized that, look, I need God, and He's my creator, I need to go back to the manual. Then I started reading the manual. So I started reading the manual very seriously. Yeah? Like a Muslim, they read the Quran,
Correct.
book by book.
Yeah.
Christian read the Bible. And when I got to a point in Isaiah, the prophet Isaiah, and I read there that God said that no more shall you become forsaken. No more shall you become dejected or forsaken, but you shall become Hezibar. I will make you a delightsome land. That stuck with me.
Wow.
And I realized in the Bible that God changes people's name. He changed Abraham to Abraham. He was changing Jacob to Israel. He gives people new names. So I felt that was a name that God was giving me. That Olayinka, you're no more going to become forsaken. Because I felt forsaken. My parents forsook me. That was what I always felt. So when they divorced, I didn't live with my mom or my dad. I lived with a relation. And most of my life was like that. So no more are you forsaken, but you shall be called Fzibar. And Fzibar means delightsome land, a land of delight.
Very nice, very nice.
That's how I embrace that name.
God bless you for that, and it's a very sweet name, nice name the way you explain it. And I tell you, the God has a blessing upon you right now as we
Thank
speak.
you, thank you.
Because there's a little church activity going on. This is where the music comes in. So if you're listening to the music in the background, it's not the some side effect. It's actually some church activity happening in this building. So that's where the audio is coming. So right on time, and see, timing couldn't be impeccable. And this made it total sense of it.
Yeah.
So this is very good thing, Olayinka, because besides, no matter what we do, we need to keep giving mindset in our head, because we come on this earth not only for ourselves but also for serving others too.
Yeah.
So if we keep that mindset, we get the blessing, but we need to start passing on the blessings to the people who are less fortunate, didn't have opportunity and all that, and at least have the empathy in you. And slowly God have resources to have it transfer from you to others.
Yeah.
All right, Olayinka, so just to continue on, there's a new thing going on with the ChatGPT, artificial intelligence. You might heard about it. And a lot of new tools are coming up online, like pretty much every day or every month these days. So do you think the artificial intelligence is taking many job sectors? Are you concerned that is going to take over the legal profession as well?
That's a very good question. So I know everybody's talking about AI, artificial intelligence. I think it's already here. And it's probably growing. And in some way, it's already in law in terms of we're talking about automation and a lot of things that used to be done manually that would need a human person to do it. It's being done, with technology now. So
Very nice.
it's already in law, and especially with this something called e-discovery. So discovery in litigation. So when a lawyer has a litigation file, they have to look into documents to get evidence and facts concerning. Sometimes it could be lots and piles and piles of paper, but now with AI you can actually pull out relevant information that would be used as evidence in the litigation matter. You can pull it through automation, through technology, which is AI, right? So instead of having to go through piles and piles of paper, and maybe you go through 1,000 and to get only one. You can just use technology
Incredible.
yeah.
I didn't know that. Like, it was already.
It's called e-discovery, and it's document review. You can, instead of, you see, before lawyers would carry piles and piles to court. Now they just need to use technology, and so and of course with the COVID we've seen a lot of things being automated now. But to your question, I don't think that there are some aspects that AI cannot function in terms of human cognition, right? Technology cannot take over, the aspects of, what we're talking about, complex, sophisticated task, like, that you need a human being to, like, and the emotional part of it, there's emotional intelligence, emotional
capacity,
yes,
and there's human judgment,
yes, and then client counseling and all of that, yes, advocacy. AI cannot do that. So I don't, but we have softwares that have been developed, legal softwares now, to help the law practice faster, to be more efficient and effective. But the area of that advocacy and that human connection thing, the emotional intelligence and all of that, I don't see AI taking over that.
I agree with you. And what happened is technology does provide the help, comfort, ease of use, and all that. But replacing it entirely is like, just even like 20 years ago, the WebMD.com was available, like website which offers the tips and support if you have any kind of illness or symptoms. But it never replaced the doctors.
Absolutely. So we have technology now that can also actually develop legal templates, but you still have to review those templates, and it's case by case to fit the client, the situation that you're dealing with. I don't think AI can do that.
Okay, good to know. Glad to know that. Thank you. What changes you want to see in the legal side of the business? Because each business evolve, and now so much involvement happening, especially after the COVID times. So, what things that you want to see or you wish to see change in the legal profession?
Changes in terms of the legal side of, you said, business, right? Yeah. So that's one thing that I want people to know, and your viewers to know. When you go into a lawyer, a lot of people, when they have a legal issue, they just want that issue resolved. They want it solved, and they go to a lawyer. They also forget that the law office is also a business. And a business is always a business, right? Correct. And so what I really would say is that whilst, yes, we want to solve the legal business, the legal issue, the person that you're going to as a lawyer is also a business.
That is correct. They're professionals.
Yeah,
they're professionals have to build their time. Just like, you cannot go to the physician and giving them, expecting they give you the advice and prescription of the medicine.
Right, and then you have to buy some medication too.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Thank God in Canada, the doctors fees covered.
Yeah.
But legal fees are not covered.
Yeah. So whereas when you go to the doctor, the time you're spending there, somebody's paying for it.
Absolutely.
But and then you also have to pay for your prescription.
That's true.
But when you come to a lawyer, because I don't give you a physical medication and everything, but I'm also, the time you're spending with me is also billable.
That is true, and you need to be mindful of that.
Yeah.
So when people reaching you out there, and they need to understand, you can only take the situation for the assessment, but if you're going to make up the time, even on making a phone call, just for 3 minutes
the phone calls, the email, the text messages, everything is billable.
Very good.
Right. So, and that's where I had the challenge from the beginning, where I'm talking to you on the phone 15 minutes, 20 minutes. It's it's billable time, but I'm not billing it. I'm only looking at how to resolve your issue, and I'm just billing. And so a lot of people forget that
Yes.
whereas because it's intangible service, it's still business.
Correct.
But if you go into a grocery store, you go pick up your grocery, you will have to pay for that grocery.
Absolutely. This is
But
something
because it's tangible.
Correct.
But because it's not intended, and then sometimes people come and say, "Oh, because you're my friend, you know me," and they'll just call me off the cuff and tell me all their issues. One, and I think I initially I'm thinking it's a friendly call, and then they dive into their issue,
Yes.
and I cannot stop that conversation now. So and then they're asking me for advice and all of that. So, and I've spent all this time going to school and everything, and I'm running a business, but you just wanting to come and just take from me and not pay for the service.
Which is not nice towards your end, because you give the legal advice, whether you charge it or not charge it.
Right.
But your friends and family and close associates in your circle, like, just consider, like, as a friend, you can be able to give it to you.
Yeah.
So it's just like in a grocery store example. If you have a grocery store, are your friends gonna come in and pick up the stuff and walk out?
No.
Like, it's a tangible item.
Yeah.
Right? You pay for that. It's just like that. The time that you spend to get a degree has a value, or the experience you gain has a value. And when you are giving advice, it is potential billable.
Yeah.
So we and this is exactly the same dilemma in my side of the things too. When people call and they talk about technology stuff, we used to provide help now, but after the COVID, we realized again we're spending way over time, helping people out, but not getting any return of that. So very valuable point to discuss. Next question I have is, what is the most difficult part serving as a female lawyer? Because it's often seen as a construction industry is a male-dominated profession. Is it still true, or is it changing?
I think it's changed. It's not changing. It has changed. There are lots of female in the legal profession, and we have female judges, and all of that. We have, even in the Supreme Court, we have female. So it's no more gender. We should be gender professional. Well, there may not be as many female lawyers, but they have, and really, Khurram, some people, they feel more comfortable talking with a female lawyer, or some people may say they're more comfortable talking with a male lawyer.
Yes.
So, and I would encourage that as many females that want to join the profession should join the profession. Doesn't matter, because the service we are providing is valuable, depending on who you want to talk to, right? So,
absolutely.
And so we want to. The whole idea is to make to create access to justice, so people to have access to justice. And some people are more comfortable talking to women lawyers, some people are more comfortable talking to female lawyers. Just like I would rather have a female doctor than a male doctor. So yeah, so making it accessible to people like that is it's important. And a female, I'm talking from my own experience. Sometimes we have that empathy. As a female, that empathy is there. Male, they may not have that empathy, or it's just business, money. But sometimes, some issues, you have to bring some empathy. You have to to the client.
Yes.
And right there and then you're offering more or less like therapy already, because giving them an opportunity to talk and say what the issue is and giving legal advice, it's sometimes it relieves a lot of emotions, a lot of stress, a lot of just, and then
as a counsel, as a legal counsel.
Yeah.
This makes me thinking to raise this question, and maybe you have the answer. So if the person comes to you and they have a genuine reason for you to serve them, they have a case and they're a needy person, is there any organization who can say, okay, listen, if you get a case, potential client who needed a legal help or advice, but they don't have money to pay you in a certain amount, $400 to $500 range. Is there any organization who can be able to compensate you to give them the service? Basically, they pay you to provide them the service?
So that's a very interesting question. We have legal aid,
Okay.
Legal Aid Ontario, where people have matters where they can get legal aid certificates, and then the lawyers may not get paid as they would normally charge because it's highly subsidized, but they will get something, and then the client also, it's a win-win for the client because they're getting the legal matter resolved, and then the money is being taken care of by Legal Aid Ontario, right? But I think Legal Aid has their own criteria of determining whether you qualify for that certificate or not. So then it's not lost on me that there might be some people who still fall through the cracks because maybe they don't qualify for legal aid and they don't have money, and then they have this legal issue. So and so that's what I think, that's where a lot of work needs to be done for access to justice, right? Some people they have legal issues and they may have genuine issues, but they don't have enough, they don't even have the money to really feed, so they are scared of even going to speak with a lawyer. That's true. And then they can't deal with that matter. But I know also there are some non-profit organizations that are open, like they open and they kind of help in that area, because also you don't always have to take all your matter through a lawyer. You can do, self-represent yourself. The system has created in such a way that you can actually file a case for yourself. You can go through the courts yourself, and there are clerks in the courts to help you go through the process, and all of that, and advise you. And in terms of criminal law, there's also people, duty counsel. They will work with you, so you have to take up the matter, but they will guide you. And there are non-profit organizations also that clinics, legal clinics, they call them legal clinics, where you can go and discuss your matter, and then they will advise you on how to, and point you to where you can get help from. But it's always advisable to have a lawyer that's like working on your file as well. And the courts also recognize the fact that there are people who are self-represented, and the standard is a little bit lower for them because they know that they're being self-represented. So,
correct.
But yeah, so I think I know what you're trying to say, but I think Canada is really trying in that area to bridge that gap.
Correct. And I think we needed it because many people come as an immigrant into this country, and they try to make the ends meet. So having the right advice, especially legal advice, is very important. But the challenge is, they don't have funds to reach out to the right legal counsel.
Yeah, this is a country of DIY, do it yourself. You can actually do it yourself. It's just more. Well, if it's a complex issue, then that's where you probably need a lawyer, and then having the right, advice, knowing the law, and as it relates to your matter, and all of that, how to navigate it.
Got it. Have you ever feel challenge doing practice as a black female lawyer?
Challenge as a black, that's a very interesting question, because as a female, yes. Now, we all know that, and Canada is a multicultural country.
Correct.
We come from different parts of the world and all of that, and we also know that if I know a lawyer who is from my community, I will feel more comfortable to go to the person who can probably understand my background, my language, my all of that, my where I'm coming from. It's I would say yes, there's some challenges in being a black female lawyer, But then there are advantages too, because I know some clients who come to me that basically they Google and they're looking for black female lawyer.
I was going to say that because there's Black community is doing a wonderful job in Canada, raising concerns and value to their community in general.
And there are organizations like that I belong to of black female lawyers, you know, or Nigerian female lawyers, you know, or yeah, even yeah. So and there are the good thing is that there are people out there who older lawyers who will also offer advice and kind of mentorship and coaching. So in that wise, and I'm someone who will always reach out to people to ask questions. So in that wise, I'm not so much, but I don't know. So as in generally speaking, because I don't have the facts and data, but I know generally, you know, it's hard for a female to run a business because you're not just a lawyer, you're also probably having a family, running a home, and you know, and all of that. It's tough because when you're a guy, like a male, probably when you get home, all you're thinking is the work, and there's everything is ready. But the woman, it's a little bit different. There's still the children, the home, the you know, the running of the home. All of that put together can be very burdensome. But then again, creating balance, well, I don't know if there's really something called balance, but I guess priorities and trying to have, you know, boundaries as well, and self-care, you know. Correct. Taking care of yourself, absolutely. Knowing when it is time to rest.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
start to say no.
This is the thing when not to pick the call.
Right.
Having, because some clients will call you weekends, they will call you nighttime, they will call you early morning, they will text you and email you, and you know, if you're gonna live like that, you'll break down.
Correct.
So self-care and boundaries, very important.
Is very important in the business.
Absolutely.
And maintaining the integrity between the work and life is absolutely crucial.
Yeah, taking care of your health too and all of that.
Very good.
So important.
Yes. Thank you very much for answering that very valid question and good answer. In general, broader perspective, how do we change things in Canada to make better laws which serves people and society?
One thing that is often said is the law changes. The law is always in a state of flux, right? It changes. So that's why you find cases, you know, we hear of precedents, and then we hear of, you know, maybe a lawyer, a judge will take a different decision. So law changes, really. It does change. And it's more about making it accessible, not changing. There are some laws that basically there's the rule of law, that's the general rule of law that people must obey the law, but how, you know, the judges decide, and that's why we have case law, read cases to see. We don't really know. You cannot always say, oh, this is going to be the outcome of your matter
based on the previous
you cannot just say, because the facts may look similar but may not be entirely the same. And even if it's the same, there's still some things that the judge may look and say, okay. And so I cannot tell a client that, oh, but the likelihood of this decision, we can say based on the way the courts have decided this is it, but you can't totally say, oh, this is what is going to be in your favor or not. But the likelihood may be high, but you can't say definitely, because it's the judge that takes the final decision. The judge has the full discretion to make a judgment. So changes in law is always something that you should expect.
I see that. Thank you. And that's why you need a a professional lawyer to give you the rightful advice, because what you read on the Google is not the right advice.
It's whatever you read in Google cannot be right advice, because what you may be looking at may not be exactly what is, the angle you're looking at it. There are so many things that,
True. Even in a written language, sometimes what people are writing have a different meaning to you versus what they actually meant. And this is where the legal advisor interpretation of it.
Yeah.
Because you're emotionally attached to that, while the legal advisor. And remember, about a month ago, I brought you in one email that this client is saying this, but you said no, that client is not saying this. Is actually meant this. Read it again. And when I read it again, you were correct.
So just interpreting it and reading between the lines and making sense of what is the issue. So when you have a matter, first you say, what is the issue? What are the facts? And then what is the law saying about this thing? And then you now have to then do some form of you have to analysis, right? Correct. So you have to analyze, and then before you come to a conclusion, and that your conclusion somebody else might conclude differently.
Correct. Very good, very good. So Olayinka, please explain me, with the mortgages up and volatile in today's business market, what advice do you have for the home buyers in this marketplace in 2023?
Real estate is an investment, right? So if anyone wants to buy a house, and it's not a small investment, so you need to plan, make sure that you plan before I would say, if anybody wants to buy, especially in this environment, speak to a financial advisor, and that's very important. Okay. Look at your figures and see where you're at,
Correct.
And also get a good real estate agent, that will walk you through the process, a very reliable, and I'll emphasize on that word, reliable.
Absolutely.
Reliable real estate agent. And then also, like we all know, it's all based on credits, right? So make sure your credit score, your credit history, your credit score, it's good. And one of the things that we're facing with those recent hikes in interest rates, and is that people have already committed to they've signed an agreement of purchase and sale, but they haven't gotten the mortgage approval. So, and at the end of the day, then it's either they get a shortfall or approval, or they don't even get it at all. So, and then they probably have to go to a private lender, and those are very, very at a very high cost. So I would say, get a good financial advice. Make sure your credit score and ratings are excellent, but get mortgage approval. Before really committing, and then work with a very reliable real estate agent.
Absolutely. Reliable is the word for the real estate agent. Because legal profession, lawyers tend to do their job professionally, but sometimes real estate agents, miss the mark, and it's hard to find a good one, but there are some good ones.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. My next question to you is the wills. As you know, the people are dying faster than ever before due to COVID and COVID after effects and everything. So why the wills are crucial to have?
Apart from even the COVID, of course, COVID has made it very, made everybody to be conscious of the fact that life, normally, everyone is supposed to have a will. If you are an adult, you have anything at all, especially now, if you're an adult, even if you are a student and you're an adult, you have a bank account, you work, you have savings, you have insurance, you have a car, or anything, or even if you don't have anything at all, but you're an adult, you need to write a will to say, what is a will? A will is you stating your wishes of how you want your estate to be handled when you're gone. And you could have personal effects. You have things that, your personal belongings, and some people have valuable things that, I would like my pictures or this to be given to this person. It's just a wish, telling them your wish, but it becomes more complicated when you are now acquiring a lot of wealth. You have now, maybe you are having real estate, you have investments, you have you have children, you have a family, you have bank accounts and valuables, things like, for instance, you have all this camera and all of the things that are valuable to you.
Yeah.
You want to state in there how you want your affairs to be managed when you've departed. Don't forget, in Canada, for example, you have to still pay your taxes even though you're up to the point of the day of death. And if you have investments, capital gains, you have to pay taxes on it. Somebody has to do that. So you have to select someone you trust to do that. So that's where you pick an executor. So your will say, who do you want to be the executor? And after all your taxes have been paid and everything, and there's a leftover, who do you want that to be given to? I know people who've died who had real estate and everything, but no child, no family, nothing. But maybe they belong to a community. They want to say, okay, I want this money to be given to my church or this organization that has helped me all my life, or to the mosque or wherever,
Correct.
or I want for this cause that, I believe in this cause. This is what, so that's what the essence of it. So, but it becomes even more interesting now we're in social media age. You own a YouTube channel, 9.33 thousand subscribers. Probably it's monetized now. So if you pass, who's gonna who are you handing that over to?
Wow. So digital asset can be passed on?
Well, somebody has to manage your digital asset. You have to give somebody you don't have to put it in your will, but you can. It's something that you should think about because it's an asset too.
True. Especially like what we manage in our company DigiPix, like website content and all media production. Yeah.
So who hands over? I'm an author, so who's going to take over my royalties when I've passed? Who's going to take over the royalties for my book? So you need to think about those kind of things. A lot of people, and we have a lot of young people now who don't even have a will. They're not and powers of attorney. So there's an instance of a young guy, a very young guy is going to work in a bike in an ordinary day, and gets hit by a car and becomes unconscious, coma. But thankfully he had a power of attorney that he had written in the name of his mom, so his mom could take care of his business, pay his bills while he's in the hospital. Wow. So that's where COVID situation, where people were in ICU and somebody has to pay their bills, somebody has to take care of their business. If you have a power of attorney that you've given to your brother, your sister, or somebody, they run your business for you, they do your errands for you, you're still alive. Power of attorney is for when you're still alive but you're not able to do it. But then the will is when you're gone.
I see.
Who takes over. And they're two different things. And where it's important is the will is, if somebody dies without a will, that's when they said the person died intestate. That means no will. So then the family now, they're mourning, they're grieving, they still have to, they can't get access to the bank account. They can't get access unless say that person is the breadwinner. Mm-hmm. So they have no money to even do the burial or anything. Wow. So, but they now have to go to the court, go through the process, and it doesn't happen overnight. No, so the process of now getting, the court to approve, and then somebody else from somewhere can contest it, right? So it can become contested, and it can cause a lot of pain and more pain, and then family don't even have time to grieve really because this person has not taken time, and it costs more.
Absolutely, it costs more than
Ordinarily, yeah.
What could be a seamless process, and let's face it, anybody could be in that situation. Anybody could die, and the reason I started, believe it or not, this podcast is because I'm seeing not a single week goes by that I don't hear somebody's loved one or our friends and family circle passing away, and I say let's at least document them. Let's sit down, have a discussion, and document them. People used to write journals and stories back in the day, but nobody reads it, but everybody watches it. So that is the thing. So
yeah, but the will is so important because it's inevitable. If you don't do that, then the courts will decide who the executor will be, who the beneficiaries will be, and there may be people that you ordinarily would not consider
as a true beneficiary.
Yeah, and then for parents, it's even more important because if they have a minor, so at that point in time, the court can decide who's going to be taking care of this minor, who will be the guardian of this minor. And if a lot of people are contesting for it, the child might eventually fall into the hands of people that you probably don't. But if you state your wishes, the likelihood that the court will follow your wishes is way higher.
Very good to know. I didn't know that the power of attorney can be dedicated to while you're still alive. But
the power of attorney is a living will while you're still alive. Say for instance, your family is here, and then some matter you had to go to India to deal with a matter or something like that. Something happens, you're stuck in India. But your business have to be run, so they can still they can run business for you, do in your name, but you're still alive, but you've given them that power to do that, right?
I see that.
So, but the moment the person dies, the power of attorney stops. The will kicks in if there's a will.
I see that. All right, good to know. Glad to know. I didn't know this point before, so thank you for mentioning that. And I will start to advise my client to at least.
And there are two types of powers of attorney. So the one for property and for personal care. The one for personal care is if the person is not able to take decisions for themselves, like they're in ICU, they're unconscious and everything, they can. How you have to consent for treatment and all of that. You can say, okay, I give this person to take decision for my treatment, or if I'm not able to do that.
So you draft power of attorney documentation separate and will separate.
Yeah.
Okay.
They are two separate.
Okay, I see that. I didn't know that, but thank you very much for clarifying that. One of the few last questions that I have is, what do you want to see update in the legal field near future?
More access to justice. More access to justice, and that's what it's all about. Access to justice.
And faster cases processing.
Yeah, well, I think, that again, it's administration and all of that. Yeah. Sometimes the courts can't really help it. There's a whole lot of factors that go.
Okay.
You have people working and they're humans, so it's a whole lot. So, but more access to justice in terms of we need more lawyers.
We need more lawyers, definitely.
More lawyers.
More judges and more courts.
Yeah.
So we can simplify.
And then more so for the everyday person, who don't have enough money to eat and be comfortable. So the last thing they want to do is to look for lawyers. Like most people would not come and write a will because they're still struggling to even make ends meet. Yes. But they don't know. You see, they don't know that also you still need to write a will no matter what.
You're right.
And just going back to the will, so a lot of people think that they can just draw up the will using templates online. It may not, there are some things that make a will valid.
Yes.
That the judge wants to see on a will. So it has to be on that will. So a lawyer will make sure that will be valid. So some people will still write a will, but the will may end up not being valid. So it would be a waste of time.
Yes, very good.
So more access to justice. Yes. More access to justice. Yeah, maybe more lawyers and Yeah.
More courts to process them too.
Well, yeah, probably. Yeah, I don't know about courts. That has to do with the government deciding and all of that. There's a whole lot of things that's, but yeah.
Interesting. Very good. Very good. What is the mission or vision you have for the future?
Oh, well, I'm somebody who is continually developing myself. So my mission is to inspire people, and also to any way I can share what my experiences with people. So I'll, in either way, by podcast or any way, I'll keep inspiring people not to settle to we'll keep being our best, putting out our best, being the best version of ourselves, continually wanting to be the best version. Khurram, this is not the best that you can be. There's still more, right?
True.
So trying to inspire people in little way that I can, right?
Yes.
And that's my mission. My vision is me, for myself, is to be the best version of myself every single time, as much as I can be before I die. I have to be the best version of myself.
Very nice.
I'm making sure that I'm true to myself, and no matter what anybody thinks about me, no matter what people say about me, what do I say about myself?
Nice.
Is this the best it can be? Am I happy with myself? Am I at peace with myself? I cannot save the world, and I cannot, and again, money is not, it's not necessarily financially, like, well, I love money, I want money, but I'm not gonna, money is not everything to life. It's you fulfilling purpose. Remember what I was saying about my maker? What did he write in that script about Olayinka?
That's true.
When the curtain closes,
yes,
I'm the main actor in my story, right?
Correct.
When the curtain closes, when they say the end, have I really revealed the story that the maker wrote about me, the script?
Very good, very good. It's a very nice and sweet way to look into it, and I'm seeing the humbleness and kindness in your personality so much that even though that you achieve so much, you're so much down to earth, so much humble, and so much putting yourself that I still have a long way to go.
Thank you.
Learning, improvement,
Yeah,
and polishing myself, and make it better. And with that, slowly you start to get the blessing from God, and collaboration from people and organization, and slowly and surely increases your potential to do more, because we realize that we know that we cannot be able to do everything by ourselves. So we need money, we need institutions, we need organizations, and we definitely need people, volunteers to help us out.
and I must say something. Each connection with you is a blessing from God, because you and I got to connect at a moment when I just started business, and I was just trying to figure out this business life. I'd always wanted to be an employer, self-employed, but I was scared. But then I finally took the leap, and I found there's a whole lot. But you and I have worked together, and you've been to my conference as well. You inspire me, I inspire you. And even this podcast we're inspiring ourselves. And that's what life is all about. And you didn't look at me. One of the things that I kept saying, okay, Khurram, you didn't look at me, Olayinka, we never knew it before, but we kind of connect. We work together as members of the board of the business improvement area for Ajax, and you got to meet into that, right?
Absolutely.
And now I'm also a member of the board of directors of the Redwood, a huge organization in Toronto, where they shelter for women running away from abuse, and so we're constantly helping, and it doesn't matter whether I'm from Africa, you from India and everything. I've got to meet your son, your family, your brother, and that's what it is all about.
Absolutely.
Inspiring ourselves. It doesn't matter that I'm even female like you,
yes.
or male. So it's just
we
and I call you my brother.
I know.
And that's what it is. So So in my experience, in my journey in business, there's no way that when I'm talking about my journey in business, that DigiPix will not come up, or Khurram Qureshi will not come up in that story.
Thank you, Olayinka. This is very kind hearted words that you said about us.
And I'm a little bit emotional about it.
Thank you, but don't
I'm
cry
like,
yet.
oh my God.
Don't cry yet. We want you to smile, but not cry yet, sister. Thank you so much. I remember, this brings the memory of 3 years ago when you started the business, and after, the event, we had in March, there was a lockdown, and you were the office are closed. It just started the business. But I said, listen, just print the flyers and just start distributing it. And I was going door to door.
Yeah, we went door to door. I remember that this morning. I'm like, Khurram, literally, you and I went door to door to tell people about my business in my area.
Absolutely. And I drafted the entire.
So tell me, how can that ever be erased from my memory?
It won't. Once you help people in a struggling time, not bad time, I should say, a struggling time, they always remember you. So, but I had never done it with anything in return but genuinely your success, and I always open myself. My doors is always open. Any advice that you need, anything that you need, just ask.
Whether it's a quarter.
I know. We have a quarter in the office. You're coming in. So drop the quarter in. Drop it. So that's
or whether it's introducing me to a high school to get an co-op student.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the connection we needed, because co-op, like COVID rather, it's put us in a boxy situation, not to talk to each other, not to meet each other. But that's not socialization. We need to start meeting people, greeting people, and appreciating them. And that's what I'm all about. And I think that gives you the happiness. And like anything else, you can wear things, you can drive things, you can eat things, but it's all for you. But when you start sharing, there's even a smile, a little laugh that we shared, that relaxes you beyond imagination. I don't take a lot of vacations, I tell you this. Why? Because my vacation and fun is my work and my clients. When I serve them and they feel happy and gratitude and empathy and smile on your face, that makes my day.
Same here. So many times when clients come and I'm able to provide that service, and they, no matter how simple it is or how whatever, I feel really I'm contributing to the society in some way, form or shape. Because sometimes we're doing work and we're thinking we're not appreciated. People don't have to appreciate me, but I have to. When I lay my head on my bed in the night, I look at the day. Have I done my best?
Absolutely.
And have I made somebody better in any little way that I can? I have got a couple of clients that they come at you, they talk, they have an issue, and at the end of the day you become the issue.
I know.
And it's normal, it's part of life, not everybody will value your service, but as long as you have a clean conscience and you're there to help people, that that there are 1,001 things I could do apart from doing the law.
Correct.
Right? Correct. So and I could decide that I don't want to do this law thing anymore. I'm going to go do something else. But when I think of the people that walk into my office, the people that they may not have all the money in the world, but they just need someone. I know clients will come to me just talking to me alone, and they say, oh, even just talking to you alone, I think I'm really relieved. That makes me happy.
That's great.
That makes me sleep well at night. That makes me feel so grateful that God has given me this opportunity to serve.
God bless you. And I tell you, there's no new messengers is going to come from the God. No prophet is going to come from the God. So we are the God's citizen on earth to provide comfort and support for each other.
Right.
And if we all think like this, Olayinka, there will be no anxiety, depression, and the problems. And the Canadians are very well known for it. But sadly, we are seeing like so much stress, so many accidents, so many problems happening in the society.
That is life, really. Life brings a lot of curveballs and all of that. Our mission should be to make it lighter for
Correct.
ourselves,
Correct.
right? So whether you be a manager in the office, don't make life hard for those working for you.
True.
Yeah, like I experienced that. Like I was struggling with school, my studies, becoming professional. I had children that are growing their teenage age with all their challenges, and I was just like struggling financially and all of that, because becoming a lawyer is expensive too.
Absolutely.
And all of that, and then you go to work and your manager just wants to make life easy for you just because you're a new immigrant, or they feel they can just, that's not nice, you know. Make life easier, whether you be someone at the gas station or the supermarket or next door business owner like you and I, and let's just make life easier for ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll always have a smiley face on your face, and be soft, and always say sorry. We Canadian are famous for that. But always ask people these days, how you doing, and how else I can help, and this and that. So very nice. So just wrapping this podcast, how do people contact you and Hezibar organization? So please.
Oh, okay. So thank you so much for that. So for my business, the law office of Olayinka Ekenkwo. So you can find me online. Like if you Google Olayinka Law Office or Law Office of Olayinka Ekenkwo, I'm on Instagram as well. I'm on Facebook and on LinkedIn as well. So you can send me messages on that for the law business, and for my other life, which is Fzibar, where I coach how to write a book. I coach young people for their if you need inspiration, any type of inspiration, find me online. I'm on YouTube as well, and I'm on Instagram. I'm very much on Instagram, so Olayinka Ekenkwo. I also have a website for my business and for the Fzibar. So for the Fzibar, it's just my name, and when you get there, you see all my services there, and I blog too, so you can read up some things and get inspired. And you can also buy my book on Amazon. So I have Scaling the Bar on Amazon for those professionals out there who are stuck and they want to get inspiration to pursue their career. You can buy Scaling the Bar. So I always say you can scale any bar that comes on your way. And then for are you an asset or a liability? You know, Khurram, this are you an asset, they call me, and I'm not even exaggerating, from the US in the last 3 to 5 years, I get not less than 3 calls every week for publishers wanting to take over this book.
Wow.
Are you an asset or liability? They calling me from the US because it was published through iUniverse in US.
Right.
So I get calls. It's every time wanting to take over that book.
Wow. Well, what does that mean, take over that book?
I mean, they want to like work with me to market it, put it into different translations. But I guess it's basically me handing over the book to them so that they can do whatever they want to do with it. But I am not ready for that, so I don't really receive that. I mean, but they really bother me with their calls a lot.
Well, this could be a good opportunity for you, and as a consultant, I can be able to manage them. So if you set the ground rules, like, okay, I'm assigning Khurram to deal with this, let me know your bottom
We can talk about that, Khurram.
Yes.
We can talk about that. I will just say it.
But I advise you that what you can be able to do, you should make a documentary or film based on this.
So definitely we can talk about that. So people can contact me through that, and my phone number for my business 905-683-0774. It's for my business. And then for Fzibar, they can just drop me. And when you go into my website, you can always drop an email, a message, or your email and a message, and I will respond to you.
Please speak to your website as well. So for the audiences who's going to listen only, so for them,
So the website is www.olayinka, Ekenkwo.com. That's my name, Olayinka Ekenkwo.com.
Okay, and Hezibar.
That's the Fzibar website.
So both are combined into one?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I see that. All right. Olayinka, I really want to say thank you very much for joining in today. It was a valuable podcast. I learned a lot. I hope our audiences have gained a lot of knowledge too. So thank you so much for coming back.
Thank you for inviting me, Khurram. Thank you so much. I've had a lot of fun just chatting with you on this podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. So, audiences, if you really like this podcast, please like and subscribe our YouTube channel for getting more quality content. And if you want to join your next podcast, please contact us on our phone number and email. The phone is 289-275-2147 or email contact@digibixinc.com. Thank you. Lastly, I want to say a special thanks to the Work Hub for providing this venue to us. So thank you, Work Hub, for this. I appreciate it. Have a nice day.